one of the things, and I'm full of trite sayings, things like, we are in the relationship business, we just happen to sell coffee. And that's really true. Coffee is the medium through which we connect to our guests, but it really isn't the most important thing. It's one of the elements. If our coffee was terrible, no one would want to come in. That's true. But we kind of have taken care of that. We roast our own coffee, we're very careful with it. We import very high quality beans, we roast them very carefully. We do ongoing training with our staff so that they get their certifications, and we're okay with what we sell. We're pretty proud of it. But it really is about the people. But how do they get to know you? How do you get to know them? Well, there's a number of different ways. So let's talk about somebody being new to our establishment. They've never been here before. Maybe they just moved into town or they've just come to the school, whatever. And they walk in and they walk up to that cash register and they look up at that menu board. What would you call that person? It's a very simple term. I'm gonna tell you. Now, what's a customer? What is that? Somebody who's there to buy something. That's exactly what a customer is. And that's kind of all that a customer is. We don't really like to call them customers though. It's kind of again, they're not somebody there just there to buy something. There is a nicer term that we would prefer to use with the folks who come into our establishments. What would that be? A guest, absolutely. And a guest is somebody who's there to buy something, but not that we treat just as somebody who's there to buy something. We mentioned Walmart before. Walmart have guests or customers? Customers. Nobody goes to a Walmart and leaves and goes, they made me feel really great today. I was having a bad day before I went to Walmart, but now my day is awesome. And I don't want to pick on Walmart, but there are so many things. You go there because it's got everything in the world, it's got cheap prices, and it's convenient. Until you go to check out, of course. And then there's 40 checkout lines, and 2 of them are open. And then the self-checkouts, which, by the way, I don't do self-checkouts because that means somebody's not being employed. So I prefer to go through regular checkout lines so that somebody has a job ringing people up as opposed to do it yourself. And I'm like, I already worked today. I don't want to ring up my own stuff. I was already at work. Why isn't there somebody being paid to do that? But that part aside, have you ever gone to Walmart? And if you're ever there with more than one person, by the way, you've done this. You've gone up, you've looked down that huge expanse of registers and gone, all right, wait here. And you go running down the aisle and you go down and you go, yep, this one's got a shorter line, come down here. I think they could actually improve their customer interaction just by having people whose job it is to do that, to get you into the shortest line. Because you go to one line, there's like one person with 3 items in their cart, and you go down this one, somebody's got it piled this high and you're gonna be in line for half an hour just waiting to get out of there. But they don't treat you like a guest. They never have. It's not their MO. They're there to treat you like a customer because all you are is somebody that's there to buy something. Now, this transition from customer to guest is largely a mindset. It is largely us doing all of those tasks that we talked about earlier. If we're doing all of the things we already know we're supposed to do, and we're smiling and we're being friendly and we're being efficient, we're making the drinks properly and the place is clean and it's organized and all of that stuff is happening, we're treating somebody like a guest. Again, you have guests in your home. You don't have customers in your home. Unless you're in a completely different line of business, but that's a different story. No, for this, we have guests in our coffee houses because again, in your home, you want someone to feel welcome, relaxed, and again, maybe not totally at home. It's your home, not theirs, but comfortable and welcomed. And that's different from just being somebody who's walking in the door to buy something. And you can feel that when you walk in, so it's up to us to kind of project that. It's not really enough for us though. That isn't going to actually get us to our mission. That's not going to get us to exceed the expectations of every guest on every single visit. So there's a step beyond guest that we want to take with folks or develop them into. Anybody hazard a guess as to what that is? It's a guest that comes in all the time. A regular. I told you there were simple answers, see? It's a regular. And you'll see how this builds because a regular is a guest that comes in all the time, is a guest is a customer that's there to buy something that we don't treat just like somebody who's there to buy something. But a regular, and again, these folks are in all the time. They're coming in, getting their whatever it is, but there's something you already know, probably, about them. What are some things you actually know about those regulars that you see? Their name, that's a good one. We'll put their order, whatever that's going to be. Could be food, could be drinks, could be a combination, could change all the time, could be something that's exactly the same every single time. We know their name, we know their order, we might know when they're going to visit, we know something about them. And you know, this transition, in order for this to happen, again, it's more than just the way the place looks, or that it's convenient, or that, you know, I like the product. You know, those things sort of have to be there. But still, what would inspire you to come in all the time if it's just that, if there's nothing beyond that? So getting their name, getting their order, getting to know them a little bit is very, very important. One of the things, and this is a tough one for a lot of people, getting to know people's names. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm terrible with names. It is not easy for me. I have to work very, very hard at remembering people's names. It's usually my wife's job. She'll stand behind me and be like, that's so-and-so, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you, hi. You know, it's embarrassing. And it's a skill that I've tried to develop over time, and I'm better at it than I used to be. Not everyone is a natural at being able to just remember a name like that and keeping it for the rest of their life in their head and putting it with their face. Sometimes we know, again, their order first. Sometimes we put a face with it. Sometimes if you're in a drive-through location, you start to hear certain mufflers or trucks or cars that are pulling up, and you know who it is just by their voice and just by the sound of their vehicle. And you know what they're gonna get. That takes time, that takes effort. Just like I'm a fan of thinking about things a little bit differently, there are certain things that we say and certain things that we say without actually saying anything that we need to think about and address. Because if this is a small latte and it's for you, and I just go, small latte, I might have made eye contact with you, I might have referred to you by, you know, kind of here, this is you. That's great. But Will, here's your latte is different. Because what you didn't say when I just said small latte was for whoever, which is kind of what I implied. And when it's easy for someone to infer. For whoever is never going to exceed the expectations of our guests. Because then you're in Walmart. You're whoever. There is a step beyond regular that we want folks to take. And we want to help them along on that journey. This one's a little tougher to guess. It's a sports term. Boom, look at that. Got it on the first guess. It is a fan. And if you will pardon the sacrilegious reference, I like to refer to these folks as the disciples of PCJ out there spreading the good word. Because this, when you get down this far on these steps, it's a whole different level of interaction. These guys use a 4-letter word to describe not only Port City Java, but you guys. It's not a bad word, don't worry, it's love. They love coming in and seeing you guys. This is almost to the point where we're a part of their day, we're a part of their life at this point. The things you know about these folks, you know what their dog's name is probably, you know when it went to the vet or if it's not feeling well, you know where their last vacation was, you know what the books are they're reading, you know what their kids are studying in school. They may have, when you were brand new, introduced themselves to you, as opposed to the other way around. Because you're the new kid, and by the way, you've just come into their home. And there's really nothing that can replace that. And again, I can't think of any other retail environment, discretionary spending, where this type of relationship happens. We have had fans come in and give birthday gifts to baristas. We've had folks who are graduating college and moving on to another part of their career after working with us for 4, 5, 6 years. And we've had to like set up a little table in the corner so guests and fans could go over and like say goodbye and hug them and get them gifts and things. It doesn't happen every single time. It doesn't happen all that often, but again, can you imagine yourself going, any retail experience that you've ever had in your life going, I need to buy this person a gift. I need to think about what they might like, go out, buy it, wrap it, and bring it to them with a card. But it actually can happen in our environment. But only if we actually work at developing those relationships. And it's hard to do, and I understand it's hard to do when we are slam-packed busy and we're just slamming out drinks and we're going. But there's a baseline we can always do. We can always be friendly, we can always be smiling. And I'll tell you what, my career before I got into the coffee business was as a chef. And I worked in kitchens for a long time. Some folks loved that Saturday night rush, getting slammed, you're just getting buried and you're moving, going crazy. I loved it. There were folks in there that really didn't love it. But if you do love it, you can still smile through the whole thing and you can still talk to people and you still have your head up and you can still enjoy that rush. It's not necessarily for everybody, but it's kind of what we expect to happen because we are there to make their day a little bit better. Conversely, we can actually make their day a whole lot worse. The reason they use this word love, you only get really, really upset about things you care about. And if you haven't had it happen yet, and we're going to talk about this in one of the segments coming up, people get disproportionately angry about coffee. People take it very, very seriously. And part of it is because we've built up this whole relationship. We have built up their expectations. And that's a good thing. We've made it so that we are a part of their day. And if a part of your day doesn't go right, well, that can bring your day down. Drive-thrus especially. Can you imagine this scenario? And very few retail environments have the power to make or break somebody's day at 7:30 in the morning. And we do that. Imagine pulling up, you get your order through the drive-thru, they hand it to you, you pay for it, you're on your way to work, you pull out. By the way, no one while they're sitting there at the window goes, oh, let me test this. They put it in their car and they drive away. Put it down in the cup holder and they're gone. And halfway to work, they pick that cup up and they take that first sip. And if it's wrong, or it's the wrong drink entirely, which has happened, man, their day's not right. This is they may have a big presentation at work, they may have something they have to do that day, and all of a sudden, everything just went cattywampus on them. Everything went sideways. It's like, no, I can't function without my coffee. And this isn't my coffee, this is somebody else's. That has happened. But the reason they react so strongly to it is because they care so much about it. So, if I gave you the option on the next shift you're going to work, whenever that's going to be, telling you that there were going to be 50 people coming in the door, and based on what we've just talked about, they would be 50 people we would call customers, kind of first time in the door, guests, regulars, or fans. And I was going to let you choose one of those four groups. Which one would you choose? Not all at once, no, no. No, it was spread out over the course of the shift, just in a normal course of business, but all of them would be fans, or all of them would be regulars, or guests, or customers. Good, that's what I'd choose. I would choose fans, hands down. But I know why I would choose them. Why would you choose them?
It makes the shift more enjoyable. Like when people are happy, like I'm happy, they're happy, everyone's just enjoying doing what we're doing.
It is more enjoyable. So you already know their name and their order. It's easier, right? Because, and you've noticed this, especially if you're new, you've seen more experienced baristas or managers, when somebody's walking in the door, they're already getting their cup ready. And sometimes instead of the drink going down the line to the pickup area, it's coming back this way because the barista saw it, made the drink, and sent it back up. So when their person gets up there in line, their drink's waiting for them. Because we already know what they're gonna have. We're already getting their stuff together. I've even been in stores where somebody who we classify as a fan, one of those individuals that you could set your watch by, was sick and didn't come in. And it's almost like we expected them to call out sick. We're like, we had your stuff ready. Well, what do you mean you didn't show up? And they're like, well, I was sick, I'm sorry. We're like, okay, well, we would send it to your house then. We'll get it to you. I'm like, okay, we don't deliver, but we've talked about doing that sort of thing. So It's easy to know why the CEO of a company wants you guys, because by the way, all of this progression happens because of you, not me. It happens because of the managers. It happens to the people in the cafe on a daily basis, taking care of their needs and making them feel that way because we are serving every single need that they have. It doesn't happen because of me, but it's a real easy answer as to why I want you to do it. Why is that? Because the company makes more money. I mean, it's an easy thing, and I'm not embarrassed about that, and I'm not apologizing for it. We have to make money or we go away. The company closes if we don't. And that's, sort of my motivation for it, and that's an easy one because that's what CEOs all want to do and all want to know about. But why should you care? And the reasons are because, again, it is more enjoyable, it is easier, it is more social, because you're not really walking them through. Like the folks down here, you're probably walking them through that whole series of questions they have about, do you want that for here to go? Do you want that? Yeah, do you want whipped cream and marshmallows on that hot chocolate? Do you want skim milk, whole milk, 2% milk, almond milk, soy milk? All of the different choices, all the customizations that they're going to have to go through to find something that they might want. It's kind of tough. It takes a while to do. This part's easier. They're also more forgiving. We are going to make mistakes. Accidents happen. It's okay to make a mistake. It's not okay not to fix a mistake. So when we do something, and say they ordered it decaf and you made it regular, and you remember that right at the last moment, you go, oh, you know what? I made that regular instead of decaf. A fan, generally their reaction is going to be either, oh, you know what, it's okay, I don't mind, I'll take it, or thank you for letting me know, go ahead and remake it, appreciate it. Person down at this end who doesn't know us, who doesn't know you, who doesn't care that much, their reaction is going to be, great, now I'm late for work, appreciate it. Or you just screwed up my day, or what are you trying to kill me, or whatever. It's not going to be as positive as somebody who's down on the fan side, somebody who already knows you and loves you. It's much, much easier. And over time, and I can't make any guarantees about this with every single individual every single time they're in the cafe, but as you go down this way, that, for those of you that take tips, will also be true. So your job's going to be easier, more fun, and more lucrative. And nothing else is going to change. The things you do every single day stay the same. It's the same tasks whether we do this stuff to get ourselves down to that point or not. So for my money, if you told me I was going to do the exact same job every single day, or at least it's not going to change the basics of my job, but it was going to be more social, more fun, easier, and more lucrative, okay, that works. I'll take that.